Hello, ladies, Gungans, and those beyond the binary. My name's Charlie Savage,
And I'm Ethan Odenthal.
and let me make sure my mic's working because I'm streaming, and sometimes that happens. It's a weird thing I have to stop doing. But welcome to episode 10 of Outer Rim Radio, the podcast made by Star Wars nerds for Star Wars nerds. And today we have a very special May the 4th episode where we give you our reactions to the premiere of Star Wars The Bad Batch. I almost said Star Wars Rebels. I don't know why. I was just like, yeah, that's what I've been watching.
That dates you a little bit.
It does. I'm on like my third rewatch of that show. It's fine.
Oh, that sounds like an addiction more than anything, Charlie.
Well, I watched it once in high school, and I watched a good amount of it randomly in college, and now I'm rewatching it on Disney Plus. So.
That's fair. That's fair. At least it's an option. But we're not here to talk about Star Wars Rebels.
No, sir, we're not.
We're here to talk about The Bad Batch, Star Wars, The Bad Batch, because that's apparently the only way you can search for it.
Yeah, and the people won't stop calling it the Bad Bitch, which is
the Bad Bitch, which is funny.
Why is it?
Looks like that.
It is funny, but if I hear it one more goddamn time, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That joke got beaten to death. So
I like that. Sorry, I'm skipping really far ahead, but I really liked during the one scene the guy's like, "Oh look, the sad batch." I'm like, that's so weird for clothes. It's like that Fairly Odd Parents episode where they have like the blobs where everyone's the same, and you're like, we're the blobbiest of the blobs. I'm like, you're all clones, you're all the same, and you're still trying to find ways to pick on people. I guess bullying's inherited.
We'll get to that because I have some heated feelings about that. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, Charlie. Usually in our first part of the segment, before we get to the main part of the show, we usually do the news. And I'm just a little confused because I remember last year at May the 4th, we got bombarded with stuff.
Yeah, and normally we have a whole convention. Yeah. Also, if you Google Star Wars, it just sends you a bunch of May the 4th stuff. Jesus Christ. Just type in Star Wars only, and then your Google will bombard you.
Yeah, you just get confetti.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because, I mean, we did get one bit of news for the day.
Oh, wait, well, and I forgot that we did do this. They unveiled Disney's patent for the lightsaber, like the real one, today.
Yeah, which is cool.
It is cool, but like, I just love that. That's the news we got. We're like, lightsabers are real, but not really.
Not really.
But they're way more practical than what we had as children, so I'll take it.
No comic book series, no movie, no even announcements. The only thing we heard was not even through Disney, was that, oh, hey, there's going to be 16 episodes of The Bad Batch.
Yeah. And
that was just from a producer. So I'm a little annoyed. I can't say annoyed. That makes me sound like a neck-of-eared Star Wars fan who's like, it has to be perfect.
There needs to be more. I think, like, there was, like, a Simpsons short. There were the biomes, the fly-throughs on Disney+.
Yeah, just,
like, nothing.
If you guys have a chance after listening to the podcast, go to StarWars.com and then scroll through the news and blog section, and you will realize there is no news, nor is it really a blog, because they're just trying to sell you shit the entire day. It's
the day to do it.
And buy this. And I think there was a quiz in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The only actual announcement they have on there, because remember, they didn't put on their blog, they didn't put the lightsaber thing. The only actual news they have on here is the Simpsons short.
This is true. Which is also like a PR thing, but
they own both properties.
They do. Also, when did that happen? When did they own The Simpsons? When did that happen? This is random.
I don't know, Charlie. Our show's not a Simpsons show.
Okay, fair enough. Also,
but yeah, it was a little weird to see.
Don't mind what I just did in Discord.
I won't. All right. It's just a little weird to see a lack of news, but you know what? I'm hoping we get more throughout the coming months. And what we did get today, I'm very pleased. So
yeah,
let's just get on into it because Charlie and I have been on a call for the past hour, and it has been so difficult not to talk
We're
about
just
our
like
feelings
we
about
need
that.
to save this for the show. We need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is for you. We've been saving this. I watched this hours ago. Charlie watched this way
I
long.
watched it
Like,
twice today.
did you?
Yeah, I watched it after I worked out this morning. And then my mom had to go to the doctor's. But I was like, you need to watch this. This is great. Also, there was a point where she was getting ready, and at the beginning, and we're going to talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, turn it off now. Just come back
Yeah,
to the
'cause this
show.
whole show's that.
Yeah, it's
We love
literally a
you. We want you
spoiler-filled
to
review,
stay
what we
here.
think. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just come back at a later date.
literally at the beginning of the episode, I saw fucking Kanan, and I went, holy shit!
Yeah. So that's
Well, they
yeah,
said stuff
that-
blah, but I'm like, oh shit! Oh.
yeah, as soon as I heard her name, my girlfriend's like, "What the hell did they just say?" Because her name's a little bit of a mouthful. To
It
even
is.
Say.
It
So
doesn't
she's
sound like a real name.
Yeah, so she was making fun of it,
And they had the Clone Wars guy say it.
and then I was trying to explain it, and then when Caleb came up, or if you don't know, that's
Canon.
canon before he took.
Yeah,
the
also
name
spoilers
Canon
for
to hide
Rebels.
himself.
I feel bad if I
Yeah,
didn't mention that, but
it's fine. It's not really that big of a deal because
no.
it was pretty
It would,
predictable.
yeah, but it would be so
both
cool if you
shows.
never watched it and you watched it all the way through,
Yeah.
and then you find out, you just start watching this other show, and you're like, who's this guy? And then you're like, holy shit, it's that kid. Like, you're season 3 of Rebels, and you've learned that? Whoa.
Yeah, but anyway, so
But also,
it
there's
was
a comic
cool.
book, so yeah.
It was a cool nod.
That was-
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But in terms of openings for shows, it was a little weak. I'm going to be honest with you.
You think so?
Look, let me put it this way. I was not expecting to open with dialogue before the Bad Batch just comes in and slam shit. Now, once
Agreed.
the action started, I was great with it, and I really liked the. There's more emotional notes in this show than we got in our 4-episode arc, even with what I would consider with the whole Echo arc.
Yeah.
In there, which is pretty huge and very emotional, and I'm glad they're trying to continue that with using Tarkin as the main villain.
Which is
But
fantastic.
I was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
And mostly why that is because
His
I had
thunderous
to.
thighs.
That's a whole nother thing. We'll get into Tarkin's luscious, fucking meaty thighs here in a second. You can clip that if you want, but whatever. I had to pause the show 3 or 4 times because my girlfriend was laughing at young Caleb's voice. Because
It's
they
so
decided
deep.
to cast Freddie Prinze, who's literally, if you don't
Adult
know,
Kanan.
adult canon, but also fucking Fred from the live action Scooby Doo movie. It's just this kid, and you're like, huh, this absolute unit who's usually wearing an ascot is just voicing this 10-year-old. And my girlfriend's like, wait, how old is he supposed to be? I was like, I think like 12 to 14.
Yeah.
She's like, what? No.
Yeah.
And then she literally made me pause the show, and he's like, so does he have like some disease like Benjamin Button syndrome? I was like,
No.
shut the fuck up.
No. They should have just made him like a few inches taller. They just made him like, they made him like youngling height. They made him like how the size that Cal is when he's a kid in Fallen Order. Also spoilers for that,
Cal.
but oh no.
I was like, wait,
not my boy Cal. Not big Cal 420 in the chat.
Yeah, this is the only thing I have to complain about. So it's just kind of funny because that's the only thing my brain can fixate on. But you know what? In terms of opening, it was fun. And I actually, one of the things that was really nice is they open with the Bad Batch before they're even on screen. Rock slide into. Oh, shoot. What'd they do?
They rock slide shot and then pushed a tank off. 3 tanks
and
off
it was
the
just
cliff.
like, it's like, oh yeah, this is literally the first time we met them again.
Yeah.
Where they're just doing all these crazy badass maneuvers. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And one of the sad things is with the loss of another big spoiler. So if you if you haven't watched it,
Callan's here for all our spoilers for everything.
Yep.
even though he still
Um,
needs to watch so much.
with the loss of Crosshair, nah, he's not dead. That's not what I mean. But like with
Yeah, from the team.
him no longer being part of the team, I mean, kind of some of the badass action shots were part of him just shooting something else so it can
Yeah,
shoot into something else, like the knife and the clone fight, not the clone fight, the robot fight.
yeah, the like weird pre-phase Dark Trooper things. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really cool.
yeah, because it needed more energy behind it for the vibrobraid to penetrate. So they're like, let's just shoot it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was just like, oh, because he
No,
cut
yeah,
some of them open with a vibroblade, but I guess to hit it straight in the skull, I don't know.
yeah, because none of them could get the angle, but if he threw it up, Crosshair was the only one that was able to get it, and obviously he has the sharpshooting skills. Although I was disappointed we had a whole episode of him without using the whole mirror thing, just
I
because that
know.
was he did a whole thing about it, and I was surprised that was not in there, but
It is what it is,
I can't
unfortunately.
complain.
Yeah, I had a good time. I mean, overall, how I feel about the show, I'm really excited. I'm really hopeful for where it goes.
Yeah,
I think it was a little all over the place, but you got to remind yourself this is a 70-minute premiere for a
yeah,
show that's normally going to be 28 minutes, right? And
exactly.
that was kind of the beauty of the Bad Batch arc is that they got a lot done really quick and it was believable, so you could just get between a lot of points
Yeah,
really quickly, and it was very high octane.
and I really
And
liked seeing like a lot of what was there. It was kind of stuff we talked about last episode, right? Like there's a few things I really think they fixed with the Bad Batch.
like
Like
what?
I think all the characters are way more likable in this show. They feel way more genuine already.
I
Just like
think
their
it went.
interaction and playing off each other.
Yeah, I think they expanded the emotional threshold because I think they obviously want you to hate um Crosshair more.
Yeah.
Hunter is more of an empathetic leader.
Yeah, which
Tech
was
is just
surprising because I didn't
more
really
charming.
yeah, I didn't really get that vibe from Hunter in the previous mission.
I did. I liked Hunter a lot. I
Yeah.
just his interactions with
Yeah, he's read
sorry,
Callan's comment.
chat's killing me right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I really liked Hunter before, but like I was kind of biased towards his character and how he interacted with Echo because Echo is such like a pure character to me,
Yeah.
and I was just happy to see that expansion, especially with Wrecker because Wrecker was just kind of this meme character before,
Yeah.
and I think they just literally giving him is it Lola or is it Lula? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
You found
So
my
he is
Lula. Yeah.
yeah, it's Lula. It's Lula. He's got his little toy stuffed rabbit now, and it just really expanded. And I'm interested to see because they gave us ways for um, Echo Hunter Tech. No, sorry, Echo Hunter Wrecker and Crosshair to connect with Omega. And Omega's that new character. That's that new female clone who is
Yeah.
the last clone. I guarantee it. That's why she's named Omega, right? That's going to be a big reveal, I'm sure. But not with Tech. Tech and her haven't had any interactions yet, and that's
Yeah.
what's interesting to me.
Yeah. Although I think our definition of last clone for her has changed because we do see the baby clones still in the capsule of
Yeah,
Tarkin. But I think she's the last unique clone
yeah,
out
that's
of
what I mean. It's
Camino.
like the last non-genetically.
Also, I
I
really
mean, not
love
last.
yeah,
Ugh.
genetically modified.
Yeah, thank you.
I love this like weird dichotomy is an issue they're having right now in the show between the Empire and the Kaminoans.
Yeah.
And Tarkin's just hard footing. He's like, we're not the Republic anymore.
I was really not expecting them to ramp up the tension as much, and that was one of my biggest fears for
Yeah,
this
I thought
show.
it would have just kind of continued business as usual
I
sort
wasn't
of
even
deal.
there. Like,
Like
let me backpedal a little bit.
he was like, we're gonna. Also, I love that they're acting like the new Empire is now suddenly broke. They're just like you get what you pay for with stormtroopers, buddy. Like
Yeah, that's something I'm
He's
gonna
like, we
get
can
into in a
conscript
second.
an army, and it's like, I mean, I guess you could.
One of the things I liked the most about this all, and I'll get into what you're saying with the Empire and the Kaminoans in a second, but the tension that was the Bad Batch wasn't immediately all like, okay, well, the Empire is instantly bad. Like they were actually going in that moral gray area in between we're soldiers. Do we do what we're told? Do we follow the mission? Do we do what we need to do? What is a successful mission? And that's what
Yeah,
I like the most about what
that was
Crosshair
such a
said.
good theme for the show.
Because he reframes following orders to if we're just about getting the mission done, how can we say we got the mission done if we aren't following the objective? Like,
Yeah,
is it our mission? Are we going by our goals? Then who are we? Are we just freedom fighters and stuff like that? Like we fight for a purpose.
yeah,
And that actually makes Crosshair a little more believable.
yeah.
And that's what I enjoyed
Because
about that.
it's basically like he's being told what to do, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, like if you, for him, it's just we need to do what they say, and they're and Hunter specifically is the one being empathetic, like we talked about, and looking deeper, and he's like, well, what's the point of this? Why would like when they go out to what planet was it?
I don't remember if they actually said a planet because they said
It
it was
sounds like
just in the
Alderaan, but it's not
no, it's in
Alderaan.
the it's in the Onderon
Onderon,
system.
yeah, that's what it is.
But it wasn't on Onderon.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're like, go out here and kill this insurgents, and they're like, they get out there and they're like, well, these are children and like farmers and families.
Just civilians.
Yeah. He's like, what's the point? These aren't droids. They aren't hurting anyone. This isn't like an imminent threat. This isn't like, like when people in Ryloth were literally enslaved.
Yeah.
Like, you're not being, it's going into these, like, these gray areas that aren't just obvious, okay, we need to stop them. Like, because Clone Wars up until then is filled with, we're not the bad guys. I know you don't want war on your planet, but you need to learn to fight for yourselves at least. Like several times throughout. Like that's constant.
To the point that it's like, oh, thanks for helping us, but they're clearly going to get destroyed in the future. Which, to be fair to Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars, this is my writer coming out, Star Wars is heavily inspired by Westerns.
Yeah.
And that is one of the themes where the cowboys, the main hero, helps the settlers stand up to the bandits.
Yeah.
But in the future, they are kind of more prepared, but they're still not. Hold on. They're still not completely. They won't be good in the future, and so I appreciated that in this show, at least so far, they've showed a little more thought into the consequences of their action.
Yeah.
Rather than what we had in the Clone Wars, because we had so many of those ideas, and I really appreciated Hunter taking the time to actually say, like, what's going to happen. And the same with Saw Gerrera. It's like there was no conflict. There was no even let's.
Yeah, they were literally they're the same as the deserter, or like they're like we're not going to take orders. We're not going to do these things you want us to do.
Yeah, and I just really appreciated the complexity. So it was one of the things that gave me the most hope for the show.
Yeah.
Despite all the issues with voice casting in the beginning and some of the awkward moments and the awkward dialogue, especially with Omega.
Or changing Cephalba's lightsaber color for no reason.
For no reason.
Like when they changed Ahsoka's. No reason.
Their ability to add tension was really refreshing. So just give me your thoughts on that. I just from an emotional point, like, how did you feel about the show compared to like the Clone Wars?
I mean it's definitely off to a better start, but we're fresh off of, season 7 of Clone Wars. Right? Yeah. Like it's the same team doing that. Yeah. Like, and it's literally picking up pretty much right where the show left off, just with different characters, but same time era. But I think it feels like we're starting out on season 5 of Clone Wars sort of deal. Like on an emotional level sort of way. Like we're coming straight into it, and it's a show that clearly feels capable of some of the better arcs around that time, like the Umbara arc, and like it just feels like right. And I like that so far, like we've seen the Force, but there wasn't it wasn't something anyone even mentioned or talked about because they're just Jedi's, they're commanders, and it's the army structure, and that's their perspective.
Yeah, they're generals to the clones. That doesn't matter that they're Jedi's. They're just
Yeah,
generals, which I've enjoyed. I just don't know. I think this hit a lot of emotional notes that are very good signs, and I
yeah,
think it gives us some prediction. Like, let's kind of move on to our predictions off of this. Like, where we
yeah,
think the show's gonna go. Like, what we expect to see in the next episode or the coming episodes.
yeah,
Because right off the start, I'm gonna tell you there are two things that make me think Crosshair is not just going to be the main villain. And I know someone asked this for our questions at the end, but we'll kind of touch on it a little bit more at the end. But
yeah,
so with Crosshair, I saw two things. One, he when you're made to hate a character that the other characters love so far from the beginning, he's gonna have a redemption arc.
yeah,
They wanted you to hate him so bad, but also understand where he was coming from.
yeah,
He was being really cold, but then he was like, okay, but now think about your brothers and think about our team. You're not being a good leader, Hunter. So that was very interesting, and I think we're going to see a redemption arc there for sure. I'm not
yeah.
sure how far that will stem. I don't know if it will be the whole show because I don't
Yeah,
think it would be one whole season.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I can see it's something that plays out within. I can see it play out within 6 episodes. I can also see it play out along 6 seasons. Like it's just
Yeah,
kind of one
and
of
it
those
could
things.
definitely be a whole slew. Like it could be not even this season, but just based off of how intense they were going in there, that surprised me a little bit.
Yeah,
Because they weren't going so much for the sting
yeah,
as more. I don't know. But the other thing for me is, and this is kind of links into my next point with Omega, is Omega was able to connect with him when no one else was on an
exactly.
emotional level, and that was very interesting because he was having headaches,
Yeah,
and to me, you could see when he got in that scanner, he was having a lot of brain activity come from his inhibitor chip.
yes.
And that just makes me think that he is literally they're trying to seed, oh, he was fighting the
No,
inhibitor
yeah,
all
exactly.
along. And that's exactly what my girlfriend said. We were watching it. She's like, I'm gonna guarantee this happens, this happens, this happens because he's
Yeah,
trying to fight it. He's got all this. So I think they're setting him up
and
hard
yeah,
for a redemption arc.
and like in terms of what's going to happen, I mean, we're pretty based on what we know from Rebels. We're pretty set on Rex's involvement in what he is going to do, and I can honestly see seeing them trying to get Crosshair back, basically from I mean, not the dark side, but from the Empire in the inhibitors, like trying
Yeah.
to get his chip removed.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I just enjoyed that they kind of touched on almost how barbaric the inhibitor chips were
Yeah,
because like you were saying, we've got this change from where we're going from the Republic. Oh, good guys. The clones are good guys to now they're the bad guys
just
all of
at
a
a
sudden.
flip of a switch.
And that's the most concerning part. I was actually glad we got to see them doing that to Crosshair, um, because it makes it sympathetic. It's like
Yeah,
you are just a creature meant to be controlled. And the whole purpose of the Bad Batch is these are more, and really the Clone Wars series in general is that these guys are, even though you've made them and manufacture them, just when they're a product of their own environment and their own experiences, they have their own human like quality. They are human,
yeah,
you know, and that's what they try to prove. I mean, very early on, I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's the one where episode where Yoda is with those clones who are out of ammo, broken legs.
literally
Um,
first episode of Clone
it's the
Wars.
very first episode. Thank you. I was like, it's in the first two.
Yeah,
That's just something they've set up. And as much as people want to be like, oh, don't watch the show, it's just episode 8 of the Clone Wars. It's definitely going in a different direction, but it has the notes of that matter the most to me. That
yeah,
were the most powerful about the Clone Wars, and that just makes me excited. I think we're going to see a lot more out of Crosshair than we definitely did in the 4-part arc of you're just meant to be like, oh, this is just a badass, cold blooded guy. And now I think they're going to flesh him out. And I'm
yeah,
hopeful. I'm hopeful.
yeah, and yeah. I think you hit the nail perfectly on the head right there. Like
Yeah. Let's talk about Omega,
Yeah,
and let's just talk about how we feel about her first, and then let's get into predictions, what we think's going to happen,
I
the
like
arc.
her. I was worried I was gonna want to put her across the room and I would be stuck with her for seasons on end.
Yeah. Oh
But I
yeah.
was like, it
I
went
thought the
from I
idea of
was
it was
like,
really cool.
yeah, like I like her more than I liked Ahsoka at the beginning, which is good because I didn't have much of a problem with her except for that droid episode where she's like, no, this new droid's fine. That one drives me up a goddamn wall every
Yeah,
time I
I'm with
watch
you on
Clone
that.
Wars. I'm like, it is clearly messing up. No other droids in this army ever mess up.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, it didn't calculate the thing in time. It's like, oh, we asked it to close a door. It shot a gun at us. Like, but
Yeah.
anyways,
It's Ahsoka it was one of those characters that they really wanted they had an idea and they really wanted to show her growth.
yeah,
Omega, I don't know where they're going to go with that art, but let me say this. I was hesitant because I didn't know how they were going to handle it.
right.
And one of the things that has been a complaint about pretty much every new Disney franchise, or excuse me, like just any of their releases as of yet, things have been a little bit pandering. And I don't mean pandering in like the Star Wars neckbeard sense, where if there's a strong woman in there, that it's
This
dog
is
shit.
pandering to me. Yeah,
No, I mean like I thought she was just kind of going to be perfect, no flaws, and they're actually showing that she's a complex character who's not revealing everything up front. There
yeah,
is more to this character than we've seen, and I mean, just from the beginning, she becomes very attracted to them and wants to be in this group. She
yeah,
feels and she's like, I belong to you guys. And they slowly reveal, although if you were kind of keen on it, you would pick up on it almost immediately, that she is also one of the genetically modified
yeah.
clones. And
By the way,
so
your
she is
camera's
close to
frozen.
them. My camera is.
Yeah,
Hold on.
sorry.
This is gonna mess up Discord for half a second.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll become Odie for a second on the OBS. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the other side of the screen. I'm back. I was kicked out. There we go. Perfect.
Let's see if it is it working.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So one of the things that was the nicest about that was not only did they flesh out that arc, but they're kind of showing this band of brothers camaraderie style of we're coming back for her.
Yeah, which
And
I
to some
really
people that
appreciated.
might to some people that might seem, oh, why would they do that? They know they shouldn't go back there. These aren't that kind of soldiers. Like they follow their own rules and they care about their own. I mean, that's why they're
Yeah,
together. They're always telling people, "Oh, hey, we're trouble." But as soon as they knew she was in trouble, they're like, "We're going back."
yeah.
And even because of that,
I mean,
um,
ostensibly, that's also what they did for Echo. They didn't have to involve him into their group, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Because
I
he's
mean,
not a
they
genetically
have
modified clone, but
they
he
have more
doesn't fit in
in common
anywhere
with Omega
else.
than they do Echo. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because they are a purposefully designed and created band of misfits.
Yeah, and I've just really appreciated that they're going for those notes.
Yeah,
I will say, I'm almost. This is one of the things Charlie and I before the show kind of talked about a little bit because we both had feelings. I think there's a strong possibility that Omega is at least force sensitive.
no, I agree. Do you want to hear?
Um,
Should I talk about who I think she's a clone of?
oh yeah, actually, I have no idea.
I don't want to be the guy that say that this is what it is,
Go
but
for it.
I'm convinced it's a Palpatine clone. If
Uh,
she's force sensitive.
yeah,
I could be wrong.
possibility. They did
I would
actually
I'd
seed.
honestly kind of like to be wrong, but I also like at least the justification in the Star Wars universe with this and Mando that they're at least showing what like the attempts led up to all the way up to episode 9.
Yeah, because they have
Cuz
all
I
the
mean,
cloning shit. It would
yeah,
it
I
would be
mean doing it this
explanation, but
way like makes it seem like it better sells the fact that it's like an obsession for
yeah,
Palpatine.
that's fair. If she is force sensitive, that does make sense. However, I will say, I don't. Disney hasn't really touched on this yet, but in previous Star Wars canon, um being attuned with the Force was actually not a result of genes.
Yeah.
It could be. It could be in your
I still
blood.
don't think it is, but I also think just the fact that there's no other clones that are like that, or at least in canon, like none of the
Yeah.
like I think she's not a clone of Django, right?
No.
So
There's no way of that.
yeah. So I
Although
think
she is definitely has an Australian,
New
New
Zealand
Zealand
accent,
style
yeah.
accent, yeah.
Yeah. Omega.
Which was a good touch. Yeah, I know. It was a little bit jarring at first because I could not anything she
For
said.
like the first 10 seconds, so I was like, oh, it's Tuesday? But
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was funny. I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
actually do enjoy having another voice actor doing that
Yeah.
style.
Also, I am still interested if like I mean, I think it's cooler if she is like a Django clone just because showing that clones can be force sensitive is cool that way, but
Either way, if
because I think
she
it'd be
is
interesting if
force
they could be like,
sensitive,
well, what if they have a way to connect like the clones M counts? Like, what if that's like the secret that they have, but then it all gets thrown away when the Empire takes over and kills the Kaminoans or weird stuff that might happen.
oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
because they've like, what if the Kaminoans discovered it and what's her name? Something Sue or whatever. All the Kaminoans have weird naming structure. I forget.
yeah, I know.
But
It's
what if
hard.
she's like the
Hard to
one that
remember.
figured it out and she seems to be hiding it?
Yeah, and they're very secretive. They always have been, and it's one of the things you actually like. If you read the Star Wars books, it's really interesting because it.
Yeah, Lama Sue. That's what it is.
Lamasu, thank you. That would be very interesting to see because she's this kind of pet project. Always stay near me, keep her by my side, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I will be interested to see where this goes. I mean, I think she's force sensitive just based
yeah,
off of the emotional like notes she was able to connect with people.
yeah, and
And that could very much be a like, hey kid, we've got to drop you off here after so you can learn and do your thing.
yeah.
And who
Oh,
knows?
by the way, I saw the dumbest little connection between this and the Clone Wars today. Uh, so that droid that wakes Echo up the droid that wakes him up is the same exact droid that was there during the whole chip arc when I forget which clone came up. Which clone was the one that discovered the secret of the ships?
Oh shit.
But it's the same droid that like treats both of them. It's the same exact one for
Yeah, I
him
know.
and Echo. Also, I'm wondering if because she's a health professional, or seemingly this child is, which is kind of weird to say, but
Yeah, I
if
mean, she seems
if they
pretty
did that
attuned.
for this reason to like see if her connection to the force could help with like the patients they have or force healing since that's an ability.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, in old Star Wars canon, it used to be to do force healing, you had to actually have like an understanding of the body. Because you
Right.
either had an understanding of the body or knew through the spirit how to heal people.
Yeah.
It's kind of got thrown
Which,
away with I'm gonna force kiss heal you, suck out my life force bullshit,
yeah.
vampiric stuff. But
Yeah. I mean,
that's
yeah.
not what this
The will of
episode's
the
about.
force,
So
whatever. Whatever.
yeah. Let's see. Is there anything that really jumped out to you that's
uh
really grabbing? Just what details were getting to you, Charlie? Like
I'm trying to think because
mine,
we did talk
we
about
kind of
Tarkin. We
mentioned them.
talked about the I
Yeah,
like I said
Tarkin's really big thighs. God, that was so funny.
juicy, luscious thighs.
I love the memes of it. One of the things that got me, and this is just because now that you're saying the thing is, they did mention several times. Oh, like, but since Chancellor Palpatine took a very large interest into our work on
And they're
cloning and
like
all this stuff.
Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if they expand on that, like you're saying, and that's very possible. They're what
Yeah.
they're trying to do canon, so
Do we?
that was important.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. We kind of touched on Saw Gerrera. I loved having him there. I think that was perfect for the story they told this week. I think it was a good way to set off and like really what going through specifically Hunter's head, he is like by far and away he is the main protagonist of the group. He's the leader still, and I think they just showed that in a better way, and I think that's
Yeah, I
good.
mean, I'm going to tell you this just based off of where I think the arc of the show is going to be. There's going to be a point where in which Crosshair is hunting them that Hunter has to fail
Yes,
because his leadership has been questioned, but up until this point, we've never seen his leadership.
exactly. Well, it's
So
because they all listen to him, but I don't know how that's gonna go if because I don't see Echo being the one to really stand up to him if they're agreeing on doing good stuff. I guess Tech can say
I think what
something's
would happen,
illogical.
Tech and Omega. I think Omega is that new voice. It's just a different voice in the group. So
Yeah,
I'm just saying as a prediction. I can't say anything too much on that, but I just think based off of what we saw, we're going to see a little more complexity in Hunter, which I completely welcome. I
yeah,
want this show to get a little more emotional because we
yeah,
have such reined in characters that aren't explored. Like flesh them out
yeah,
because they're clones.
yeah,
They will die. Um, eventually.
yeah,
These may not be clones where they don't age as quickly.
yeah,
They may not have inhibitor chips, but they will die eventually before the main stuff that happens in Star Wars canon happens.
yeah. By the way, we were
So,
talking about reasons we like Omega, and I didn't really touch on this, but I
okay.
like what the uh like I like that she's in general just a lot mostly because she's a kid more than anything. That she is just like this exceedingly vulnerable character in the group,
Hmm.
right? Like
She
like you
makes the
said, she didn't.
threats feel real
Yeah, like exactly. I think that's a perfect way to put it.
because we're no longer dealing with just superheroes. And actually, Charlie, that's a fantastic point that I didn't think about. So right now, one of the greatest things about this episode as compared to the four-part Bad Batch is they made these guys feel vulnerable, not just like
No,
superheroes.
yeah, all
They
of
can
them
get
did.
hurt. All of them got hurt at some, well, not all of them, but like
I mean, Wrecker got
Wrecker
shot multiple
Wrecker
times.
got he gets fucking wrecked multiple times and it knocks him on his ass and then it's
Yeah,
like, okay, we have to save him. And that was one of the most messed up things about
yeah. Crosshair was using him as bait.
Crosshair using him as bait. Now, granted, I don't think Crosshair was trying to kill any of them because he could have.
Yeah,
I really think he
he
could have.
definitely could have at least killed Wrecker.
Oh yeah, he would have known how to kill Wrecker, and he could have shot him while he's on the ground.
Exactly.
So I think there's a little bit of sympathy, but we'll see with all that. But
Yeah.
I did enjoy they're adding more vulnerability to these otherwise superhero like
Yeah.
characters. So.
And like obviously Echo's insecurity and weakness is the fact just how he's different than other clones. Like
Yeah,
like
you're
he
more
went through a
machine than
traumatic
man,
experience. Like
and they
he's
showed his PTSD
yeah.
through the robotic scenes, and that's the other thing that about Omega is she's so emotionally sensitive, and that was the one that really like okay she's force sensitive
Yeah,
because she's
that
immediately
in
like
the
I can sense
crosshair
that you
scene.
you
And
don't like me
then
hooked
the third one at the
girls.
shot at the end. Like that's the perfect 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, dude, I didn't even think about the shot with the. Okay, we're
Yeah.
totally. There's no way we're wrong. I'm putting all my money on this. Quote me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Quote me now. I will do $100 to charity. I will donate $100 to charity if Omega is not revealed to be force sensitive by the end of this season.
Yeah, that I was gonna say. Please don't say next episode. I mean,
Next
we should give the
episode,
charity.
holy
I mean,
shit.
but yeah, but yeah.
Let's see here. What was I gonna say?
Oh, where do you think they're gonna go next episode? I think that's the obvious question.
Yeah, that was our next question. That was about transition to. So thanks.
Perfect.
I think they're gonna have to try to find their new life, and I think it's gonna lead uh mercenary work.
I know exact. I feel like. Did you bother looking up to where the area that they said they're going?
I didn't even remember what they said.
It was like J29 or something. But it's literally where Cut LaQuain is.
Oh shit!
That's literally the deserter baby. And I imagine that that's where Rex is, and that's how they meet up. That would make the most sense to me.
Oh, bro, that'd be so.
Because if you're Rex and you're a clone on your own, but
yeah, doubtful, right?
yeah, but like, because like at the end of that episode, he encourages him to come back, right? So, I think it makes total sense for Rex to be the one they encounter there, even if Cut's somehow gone or something, which I hope he's
Yeah.
not. I think it's
Yeah,
way
he's such
cooler
an
if,
interesting character.
yeah, because I don't think he's gonna go off and do these things, but I think he's gonna be the one that can work with them.
Yeah, I'm
And
with
I
you.
think,
I think you're right.
and we know that Rex goes and he tries to take chips out of other clones, so I think he's gonna have an arc. I think Cut's gonna be the one that he's gonna have to, because the way I foresee this from his Captain Rex perspective, or like my prediction would be that Rex is like, I need to escape. I need to get away from all of this Order 66 bullshit. But I need to work with someone. And I see him going to back to go see Cut LaQuain, and then him having those issues with this chip and being like, we don't know what's wrong. He like thinks he's a soldier again. Like his family's like freaking out. But he's like, where are they? And he's like crazy. And then Rex shows up and
Interesting.
he's like, we need to help. We need to help him. And I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm excited.
Also, that was a very long guess, but in general, I think that Rex will be there because we've seen him in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there, and we'll know in like what,
Friday,
3 days. So
yeah,
you can find out if we're wrong then. So.
I gotta say, I hate that I can't just watch the entire show now because I want to.
I know. That's
also
the thing
because
I
for
enjoy
me,
the most.
all the Star Wars cartoons I've binged. I haven't.
Yeah.
There's no other way I've ever consumed them. I've never consumed them on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to our last little segment here. Every now and then, Charlie and I, we reach out to our fans on Snapchat, Twitter, other social medias like Discord, which you can find down in the description if you'd like. And we just ask people for any questions they had on the Bad Batch. So we'll kind of go through these. Some of these we've already answered, so I'll recap. But first, from your Brody X.
Actually, do we want to do Cal's question first so he knows?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Since he's been here.
Oh, hey, Cal. Yeah, sorry. I forgot that was your question. So Cal asked, what is Bad Batch and why are they not the Delta Squad? Which, if you're not familiar with Delta Squad, that's from Star Wars Republic Commando video game.
Which are still canon, actually.
Which they have modified very a little bit to be canon. So it's like
the characters are canon. The story,
the characters are canon.
Isn't.
The story is not. Actually, parts of the story are. It's a little weird. I had to look it up.
Some of it's not necessarily either here or there. So
I'm going to tell you this right now. As someone who was obsessed with Delta Squad and that game when I was a kid, I remember playing it on my grandma's computer with my cousins all the time. I think this is the niche you want, because it's not, Delta Squad is just not, they're not just running around and shooting people and do stuff like that. They still have the badass action and all the cool stuff, and I really like how unique these clones are, but they're also unique in an emotional sense, and I've really been appreciating that with this show. And I think for anyone who liked Republic Commando, it's gonna fill that niche of these clones and they're fucking cool. These are super soldiers. But it also adds the vulnerability that makes it, hey, I want to watch this for 16 seasons, because not 16 seasons, she's 16 episodes. 16 seasons.
I demand it now, Filoni. We're going all the way to episode 9 with these clones now.
My kids need to be watching this show coming up. Anyways, I think you'll really enjoy it. And for anyone who hasn't watched Bad Batch, like Republic Commando, please do, because it's just so compelling, and frankly, it's just so badass. So,
yeah,
there you go.
And also, if you want the actual technical answer of why they're different, is that every one of the Bad Batch is a genetically modified and defective clone. Bad Batch is known as Clone Force 99, named after Clone Trooper 99, who was the first defective clone. He basically ended up pretty much old and crippled, and they were like, yeah, you go do maintenance work, bud.
And but he's more of a soldier than 90% of characters in Star Wars. Great guy.
Yes. There's a great arc about him. I would definitely recommend everyone watch that arc in Clone Wars. But
And
essentially, he does the ultimate good, and he gives his life for the life of others in battle.
yeah, yeah.
Even
Despite
though
being
he's
crippled
not
and all
viewed
this
as
stuff.
capable, he's viewed as weak, he's viewed as feeble, he does the right thing, and that's what makes him a good soldier.
Yep. So, and he's the most I would say influential clone because he inspires
Everyone.
Domino Squad and um Clone Force 99. So
Yeah, and it's
it's
like
just
you also know that like because that whole thing takes place on Camino, that other clones all know about it, and they know that that's why the Bad Batch is called the Bad Batch, or why they're called Clone Force 99.
yep.
Like when they come onto the scene, like everyone knows who they are. Like they're like Clone Force 99, like even at the beginning of this episode. And it happens again, and then like in Clone Wars, they like Cody and Rex, they understand what the semblance of 99 is.
Yeah.
Makes it really great.
Cool. I think we definitely hit that question pretty hard, and I think hopefully Cal that answers your question. Let us know in chat if it didn't, or just let us know later.
Please be alive.
So yeah, let's move on to you Brody X's questions, some of which we kind of touched on.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we've touched on. I can't answer the last one. We'll get through this. So, could Omega be force sensitive? Yes. Almost definitely. I'm gonna say yes. As I already said, $100 to charity if they don't be force
Yeah.
sensitive by the end of the season. Quote me on that. I will donate because now I'm virtue signaling for Cal. Will Crosshair be the main villain? What's your thoughts on that?
No, he's certainly. I think he's gonna be the most direct antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It kind of depends on what you mean by main villain. To
yeah,
me, when someone says
he's
main
almost.
villain,
He's more like a villainous foil. Like
he's a foil character. Especially to Hunter right now, he is 100%.
Yes.
So that's a great way to look at it. Which, if you don't know, foils are. This isn't the exact way to think about it, but they're kind of like opposites. So when they're on the screen,
They cause
they
friction.
they
Like
contrast and they cause friction, and they just show each other's differences and highlight the qualities of each character.
yeah,
So the thing about is Crosshair is a force to me. He's very powerful,
yeah,
and Tarkin is going to be the person who applies that force because Crosshair has his inhibitor already enhanced, and he already said he wanted to follow orders. So he is going to be just this force of nature coming through. That's going to
yeah,
be as Hunter said, unavoidable for them. He literally says that at the end. It's going to be
yeah.
unavoidable with
He's
with
like
with
really the plan was just to
Crosshair.
lay low and do nothing.
But now we've got this guy hunting us.
Yeah, and he's like, well, we bet it's pretty much like it's inevitable that he's coming after them, right? So
I mean,
they
he's
really
going to.
just need what they can to do to like really gear up for like this imminent contact that is
Yeah,
bound to happen. They
yeah.
just don't know when or how long they have.
The focus of this plot, I think, is going to be a lot on chips, and I think just
Agreed.
based off of what we saw with Crosshair, and his next question is, will Crosshair get his chip just taken out? I think most likely, eventually, he will. That we kind of
It's
discussed that a
gonna be
little bit. We
that,
don't
or
know
they're
when.
gonna have to kill him. There's no other way.
And I think based off of what we've seen in this show so far, um, the difference between what we saw with Hunter and what we saw with Crosshair is Hunter knows when not to kill someone,
Yeah,
and that was supposed to be a good quality we seen in him. And I think they will like Hunter will spare him, and it will be for the best for everyone. So I'm gonna say he survives, and they do that because I think it's gonna be a more dramatic moment.
I'd agree.
Um, but I can't guarantee as why.
Yeah, he
How
certainly seems to be of. I mean, I think the like that conflict within him. I think what we talked about earlier is what's going to happen. Like he is going to get a redemption arc. He is going to be
Yeah,
able.
and that might be that he sacrifices himself for the group. but I'm not going to. I can almost say that they will not kill him.
Agreed. I don't think they have it in them to kill him. I think it's gonna have to be something almost unavoidable
Because
if
there's this
to cause him to
camaraderie,
die.
this brotherly, unspoken love. Like, even when Crosshair is being snappy, he's still putting his hands on him and like patting him on the back. And someone got hurt, the Bad Batch arc in Clone Wars, there's still some like brotherly affection and camaraderie going on.
Yeah.
Just with the best way to explain it is like some guys when they're hanging out, like they just talk shit to the other person, and like that is saying I love you
Yeah.
in a weird way, and that's just kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, because if you're
It
comfortable
reminds
enough
me
to
a lot
talk
of
about
like
that at all with your friends, then you're on a different level.
it really reminded me of like the A Team, which is what we made that giant meme.
Yeah, I
Um,
literally put that out on all social medias, and I was like, "Look, it's that, but the A-Team theme."
but moral of the story, we'll see. How do you think this series is going to end? That's a huge question.
I don't
Um,
see. This is really hard, right? I mean, we're the first episode, so
yeah, and here's the
um,
thing about this is
I don't
Disney.
know when it's going to end, and I don't know what
That's
other shows they want to do animated. That's the thing, because
yeah,
I kind of like the idea that this is the first of a lot of like
animated
animated show
spinoffs.
spin-offs sort of thing. Like I'm cool if we get like 3 seasons of a show here, 3 seasons of a show there, and that's kind of just how the Star Wars animated universe continues.
Mm-hmm,
Oh, by the
100%.
way, this was something I saw earlier. Someone like made an edit I saw online where it was what happened at the beginning of the episode with Kanan and overlapping that when he's like talking with Ezra about not trusting Rex and
Yeah,
all the clones. Like they overlapped that, and I just thought that was super. That really adds to Rebels. Like at least when they put the, I mean the edits are supposed to be like sad and emotional, but I was like, damn,
yeah. I mean, it has so much strength for a reason.
yeah,
Well, I think we covered a lot. I mean, we don't have a lot yet, and I'm excited to get our next episode because I think it's really going to point us in a direction. And you know what, you Brody X, we might be able to give you a little bit more of an answer
yeah.
after we get a little more content. But
Hey,
I
what
think we've
year?
taken our shots.
What year do you think the show ends
What year? Oh God.
in Star Wars
Okay.
canon?
Oh God. We're talking about Disney.
I'm thinking
So I think they're gonna stretch this.
5 to 6 years out.
Yeah. I don't think this will be. I'm gonna say this. Get this being completely synchronous. Like
Yeah,
I think we'll have gaps in time.
yeah. By the way, there was one thing I actually did want to bring up because I want to talk about predictions.
Okay.
Uh, about because we did briefly mention what characters we think we'll see last episode, and I was
Yeah.
wondering if that had updated at all for you because I'm pretty certain about Cut LaQuaine next episode.
Cut LaQuaine for sure. Rex for sure. I mean, obviously we know Rex, but
Yeah,
I am just going to guarantee we're gonna see more. Expect more bounty hunters.
yeah.
Um, mm, expect more bounty hunters.
I'm thinking we get a lot of criminal syndicate stuff and not just Maul,
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna see Dryden Voss because they
we're
animated
gonna
him
see
for
Dryden
season.
Voss, but I think we're actually gonna see Maul. I really do.
No, yeah. Also, that's gonna be such an interesting conflict or fight if that breaks out.
I'm interested to see what happens with Mandalorian.
Yeah, yeah, I agree because Mandalore I think is almost unavoidable in this in between time because there's so much we don't actually know.
And this is right before,
I
like,
mean, yeah, everything that happened was concurrent siege of Mandalore into 66, right? So
yeah. So there's still some surviving members. Let's see. I'm excited. I really that's a hard question for me.
yeah,
They opened it up a lot, and
yeah,
especially with Omega being force sensitive. Now I'm like, oh God, now
yeah,
this opens it up a lot.
yeah, and like the fact they were willing to go for like Kanan literally is the first character. Kanan Insufferable Lava, like the fact they were able to do that is like there's so many options.
Yeah, yeah. Well, cool. I mean, I don't have too much to say other than that. All I can say is I'm excited. so we can predict a little bit more and think a little bit more about this.
Agreed. All right. So do you want to tell them about what we're doing uh after this? We're doing that.
Oh no, you cover it. It's all you.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we are here in a bit. We're gonna do our outro. We're gonna end the stream, but we're gonna have a basically chill out, talk about whatever period. Mostly Star Wars though. It's gonna be random things that just won't go in the podcast, aren't really necessary for the show, but just fun things to talk about. We're gonna start doing this at the end of every show, just like chill, hang out, and if you show up when the show is, which is every Friday night at 9 p.m. is where it will be. Or
Eastern
anytime a
Standard
Bad
Time.
Batch or Star Wars things drops, we'll be doing a thing
Yep.
for it pretty much.
So
9
yeah,
p.m. is
Fridays-
basically the time.
Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk for about an hour, do our podcast, and then after we'll just chat, do our thing. So we kind of interact with chat a little bit just over text, but we don't like to talk too much directly to chat while we're doing the show. So this is kind of our time. So if you want to, you can stop by at twitch.tv/Savage Gaming.
SAVIDGEGAMING.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Yay, I can spell.
Well, I think that's great. We've got that out of the way, so we're gonna go do that in a couple seconds. So, thank you all for tuning in from wherever you are across the galaxy. If you like the episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast wherever you get our podcast from, and please share our podcast with a friend or a family member who might enjoy it. If you like our logo for the show, you can get some of our merch, which we love a lot.
I love the
personally.
merch. It's actually
We don't
it's
make
gas.
a ton off of it, but it's just fun, and we like wearing it around. We want to grow the
Yeah.
show. So if you like it, you can find our merch by searching for Outer Rim Radio on redbubble.com. So that would mean a lot to us if you guys would at least take a look at it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Goodbye, and may the force be with you.